get started. Everybody ready to go? All right, Coach, opening statement.
Yeah, really, really proud of our guys. That's a big win versus a really good football team in a hostile environment. It's good to see all three phases for the most part. There was times we had some adversity, but all three phases be able to impact the game in a certain way. The offense being able to rush for 246 yards, defense giving up 61 yards rushing, that's huge. And then for the second week in a row in the third punt block, it's amazing what our special teams unit is doing, especially that punt block unit. It's been really good. They worked at it. And so, I think about the play for me that kind of changed the game was they start to get a little bit of momentum in that second half. They were down 14 with the ball, and Maris intercepts the ball, and we go down there and we score. And that to me was the moment that I said, okay, we got it. And it was really just good to see this team battle. And I had known going into the game that backup quarterback was pretty good. I knew if he was going to play, he would be a challenge for us. And so he had some good plays out there, but our defense kind of buckled down and finished the right way. So with that, I'll just open up for questions.
Go ahead and raise your hands and we'll call you. Go ahead.
Was that your game plan to kind of pound the ball and dominate with your offensive line? Was that the plan?
That's been the plan since probably Cal. Let's try to establish the run game. We have to. We got to. That's our identity right now. And our receivers stepping up. You saw Deion Cozy make some big plays, and there was a couple wideouts that all stepped up. But right now, our identity is the ability to run the ball. Okay, and then when they get the opportunity to throw it, we'll throw it.
Patrick, go ahead. Right.
Marcus, after that interception, you guys go it's all but one play with 3 tight ends. I guess just how much is the buy-in as far as everybody's on board with that being the identity and that just knowing what you guys are doing?
Yeah, it's more so. It's just everybody's on board with the identity to win. And if that gives us our best chance to kind of, move the ball, running the ball, and at times being able to throw it out of 13 personnel, but that's what this team's on board with is whatever it takes to win, and that's why you love coaching these guys. They're unselfish and they're willing to do whatever it takes.
Go ahead, Pete Sampson in the middle.
First half, you had 3rd and 1 down to the goal line. You got pretty hot at the officials there, I think, for a substitution that was allowed. What sort of went into that? And I'm interested as a younger head coach, are you sort of finding your voice about how much you really try to exert yourself in those moments?
I thought it was the wrong call at the moment. I thought we didn't sub and they subbed, and I didn't think they should be holding the ball, but they explained to me that we had a guy come on the field a couple yards and come back, and when we do that and they sub at the same time, they got to hold the ball. So again, it's more reactional to what I see, and not intentional, just reaction. I didn't think they should have held the ball, but after they explained it to me, totally understood.
Tim O'Malley, or whatever their name.
You mentioned the punt block team getting to another one. They influenced another one prior to that to set up a field goal. It's now, I think, 5 have been influenced and 4 have been blocked. How is Brian Mason and this crew able to do this each week when now everyone knows this is something you have things set up to try to get these punt blocks?
Yeah, it's very similar to how you try to run the ball when they know you're going to try to run the ball. You can't do the exact same thing, but you got to spend time trying to attack the deficiencies of the opponent, and then also make sure you're not putting yourself at a risk to getting a fake. That's the big challenge is, hey, we got to make sure at some point somebody's going to try to fake on us, and we got to make sure we're ready for it. And I think our guys are. We're prepared as long as everybody does their job. That's what I tell them. How do you prevent a fake? Is everybody does exactly what they're supposed to do. And but it's really kudos off to Coach Mason and that punt block unit. They're hungry for it. You can see it once you start getting a little bit of success and block a couple punts. They want it. They want to attack it, and they work on it after practice and really work at the details of it.
So we're going to go all the way to the right to Mike.
Brandon Joseph came billed as a ball hawk, and we've been waiting to see that. How much do you think he was eager for that kind of moment, and what did that do to set the tone of this game?
To start the game, it was huge. To start the game on defense, and the very first play, I think it was the first play, get a pick 6. Trust me, that's how you want to start, if you can. And so it was good. The group started fast, and then they went down and scored to make it a 7-7 game. But the ability to establish, hey, we're on defense first, we go up 7-0. It's huge momentum builder for everybody on our football program.
We're gonna go all the way to the left, Coach. Yes.
Hi, Azar Johnson from 4.0 Sports. What have you done consistently to be on this 2-game winning streak that you need to continue for the next game against Clemson?
I think it's just the urgency we have as a program to improve. You know, it's not stay the course. It's fix the course, right? And fix the mistakes that we're seeing in practice and we're seeing in games. And there has to be a sense of urgency from the top down to make sure that we're correcting everything that we're seeing on film. You know, any mistakes we're seeing in practice, we got to correct them and make sure that the players understand the sense of urgency we all have. And so we got to continue to improve. How do you do that? You look at, you evaluate the film, you find different areas where you're not executing the way you want, and you attack it in practice. And hopes in the game that it's a reflection of that.
We're gonna go in the back row over there on the left. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Marcus, I wanted to ask about the defensive adjustments you saw from your team today, particularly after the first Syracuse touchdown, and then after the backup came in and got a couple scores. What did you see from your team kind of locking that down?
Yeah, I can't remember the first, let me see, maybe I wrote it down. The first touchdown. Yeah, we ended up, you know, we told Ben Morrison. Now, they got down there off a couple big plays, but, you know, they ran the inside zone. The quarterback blocked our safety, and it was a big play. And then they scored on Ben Morrison, but it was a little bit on us coaches. We called him, we told him to bail where we probably shouldn't have. And it was ability to get back to the sideline and said, hey, let's not do that anymore, and kind of let them get their cleats settled in and go out and play. Then the second half, man, it really came down to, you know, we were really trying to pressure the backup quarterback, and he started throwing the ball pretty well. And so we said, okay, let's hold off on the pressure and make sure we're covering. You know, we're playing a little bit more coverage. And so that adjustment was big in the second half to be able to get out of some of those pressures and play some more coverage. And, you know, hats off to our defensive staff, the communication, the execution. Our entire coaching staff did a really great job in preparation and today.
All right, we're gonna go to Tyler James there in a second.
Marcus, Isaiah Foskey had a big game for the second week in a row. How much has his improved play and the whole defensive front, increased pressure the last two games, really changed things for you guys defensively?
Yeah, it's huge. Anytime you can get pressure with four guys, man, it can change a game. And so, you know, Coach Wash has been working on that. We've kind of challenged that group to, hey, we can't continue to bring pressure. You got to make sure that we create it with four guys rushing. And, you know, Isaiah Foskey is a dominant football player. He just has to play that way. And it's been good for him. It's been good for all of us to see him play that way the last two games.
Back to your left over here. Go ahead.
You mentioned hostile environment. In one drive, you had 2 false starts. Did you make any adjustments after that in dealing with the crowd noise?
No, we had been preparing for it. This is the third game that we've planned on using a silent count. And, you know, the one that was JT, he flinched, you know, and the other one, I didn't see it. It was on Joe Alt, but I didn't really see what happened. But it was just calm down, guys. Like, they really hadn't stopped us yet the first half. You know, we missed the first field goal, and we go and get 2 penalties on the next drive. It's like, hey, guys, calm down. Be able to just execute, don't beat ourselves, and that's what you saw the rest of the half.
We're going to do 2 more, Mike. Go ahead.
What was going on with Lindsey?
He was ill to start the week, so we missed practice, and then we kind of settled into trying to get a little bit more length on the field at wideout. You know, we had a couple personnels where we wanted tall guys. We called it tall personnel, you know, and the ability to get some of that length, because they have some long corners, and we wanted to be able to challenge those guys. But, you know, it started off because of the illness.
And then Colsey, what's he speak for his confidence after he's been waiting for it?
Well, I'm proud of him because it's a reflection of practice. And that's everything I keep saying is you build confidence in practice. And he had a great week of practice. And for him to go out and have a couple catches and make some plays and get a little bit more playing time, it reinforces, you know, the things I say, and that, hey, practice is so important, right? And what we do in practice will get you those opportunities in the game.
All right, last one, Pete Sampson.
I realize you want to lean into the run game, but the pass game at this point, what needs to get cleaned up there? What's sort of your level of concern about that area?
I have to go back and watch it. You know, we scored how many points today? What was the final? 41 points, you know, and if we can score 41 points doing it the way we just did it, we're going to continue to do that. I'm not looking to have a certain amount of passes or a certain amount of runs. I want to score points, and right now that's what we're doing.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.